Honorable members, shall we pray? Almighty God, we humbly beseech thee to look with favor upon this Parliament of the Republic of Ghana. Grant that it may perform its high duty as in thy sight. Give divine guidance to the President of the Republic. Endow members of Parliament and ministers of state with discernment and vision, integrity and courage, that through the labors of government, this land and people may be well and truly served, and their good purposes for the common human life be realized in our midst. O God, grant us a vision of our country, fair as it might be, a country of righteousness, where none shall wrong his neighbor, a country of plenty, where evil and poverty shall be done away with, a country of brotherhood, where all success shall be founded on service, and honor shall be given to a deserving, a country of peace, where government shall rest on the will of the people and the love for the common good. Bless the efforts of those who struggle to make this vision a living reality. Inspire and strengthen our people, that they may give time, thought, and sacrifice to speed the day of the coming beauty of Ghana and Africa. Amen. Honorable members, we take item 4, correction of votes and proceedings and official report. We will start with the correction of votes and proceedings of Tuesday, 21st November 2023. Page 1. Page 2, page 3, page 4, page 5, page 6, page 7, page 8, page 9, page 10, page 11, page 12, honorable members, in the absence of any corrections, the votes and proceedings of the 15th sitting dated Tuesday, 21st November 2023 are adopted as the true record of proceedings. Honorable members, official report. We have a copy of the official report of Friday, 10th November 2023. Any corrections? Honorable members, in the absence of any corrections, the official report of Friday, 10th November 2023 is hereby adopted as the true record of proceedings. Honorable members, we have some important visitors, and because of their program, I have to acknowledge them now before they depart. We have some two senior members from the Parliament of Uganda who are here to study our system, and therefore their focus will be with the staff of the Parliamentary Service. We have with us Mr. Asimwe Myers. He is a senior policy analyst. Senior Policy Analyst, Parliament of Uganda. And we also have a lady, I believe, Madam Jean Kabibi. Kabibi is a policy analyst with the Parliament of Uganda. Honorable members, on your behalf, I warmly welcome them to the Parliament of Ghana, and it's my prayer that their discussions with our colleagues here in Parliament will inure to the benefit of both the Parliament of Uganda and the Parliament of Ghana. These positions were made possible because the Parliament of Uganda was one of the first to pass the Budget Act, which created the opportunity for them to bring in experts and professionals from various subject areas, and they have anchored the Parliament of Uganda in the performance of their functions. I've been there a number of times, and I think it's useful for us to also complete the passage of the Budget Act. Please, this is the committee handling the bill. You need to expedite action for us to pass it at least before we go on recess next month. Honorable members, we also have at the public gallery visitors from 3 institutions. We have the students of Treasure Academy, led by one Mr. George Dua, and Treasure Academy can be located at the Gansaf constituency. Please, may we see you? Treasure Academy. That's quite a large number. You are most welcome to the Parliament of Ghana. And where you are is called the Public Gallery. We transact our business in the open, so we always invite the public. Please, you may resume your seats. We also have students from the Swansea Technical Institute, led by Mr. Daniel Bafi Ajay. Bafi Ajay is a compound name, and the institute can be located at Abura Asebu, Kwaman Kese. That is the constituency. Yes, please. You can see them. That's also quite a large number. There are some at this side. You are warmly welcome to your house, the Parliament of Ghana. And we encourage you to keep on doing so that you can learn better than we take over from us. Please resume your seats. And we have also students from Nyanyano Methodist School, led by Mr. Daniel Mensah. And Nyanyano Methodist School definitely can be found at Kaswa. Where are they? Nyanyano yet to enter? Well, we'll move on. When they come, I'll recognize them again. Honorable members, we will now wait on the guidance of leadership, whether we should take item 5 now, which is dealing with statements, or we move on to public business. Yes, please. No statement. Yes, Majority Leader.
Speaker, there is a statement.
You are not a leader. I did say the House would need the guidance of leadership as to which item to take. And then you stood up at the back and you are trying to catch my eye using your voice. Yes, Majority Leader.
Mr. Speaker, there is a statement, but we indicated to him, the Minister, that he should hold until we begin the debate on the budget. So when we finish the debate for today, and he could make the statement. The statement on the environment and science and technology ministry is on this COP20. Mr. Speaker, I think as we agreed last Friday, we said every morning we will do the debate, and when we finish, then we go into other matters. And that is why I told the Minister yesterday that he should hold on until after we terminate the debate, and then he will come here.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, to add to what the leader has said, I know there's also a statement from the Honourable Member for Kintampo, which was sent to your office and admitted, which the way he has been, I know it's a matter of urgent public importance. But Mr. Speaker, if it's agreed that we start the budget debate at 10, we must be here at 10. I know you came very early and was waiting for members to come. Yesterday too, the same thing happened. If we say 10, we want to make good use of time. Therefore, members must come early, including leadership. Then we start the debate as early as possible. That is what I want to add.
Well, honorable members, this is notice to you. 10 o'clock, I will always be available because I'm always here before 10. Yesterday, I had to attend to a very important function, and I asked my deputy to commence sitting at 10 yesterday. I came back and saw that yesterday started around 12. And so, please, we have serious business and we want to be commencing at 10. If for any good reason we want to do it later, we have to inform members. Yes, Majority Leader.
No, Mr. Speaker, I agree that we have to start at 10. And indeed, yesterday we have done that. I think last Friday, for instance, we started very late. And even though the deputy speakers were here, we couldn't start. And the indication was that you had not indicated to them that they should sit. And yesterday I was here. I got here before 8 o'clock. And the statement that came from the Deputy Minority Whip made it appear as if leadership wasn't around. I was there. And I was waiting to be for indication to be given to me that the Speaker had come. Speaker, I even went back to the house and came back. When I was coming, your vehicle was not there. So I asked, of course, you have other things doing. So I cannot fault you. But I think if we give indications that starting at 10, even if you're not here, the deputy speakers will begin, then we are all added. But we should be starting at 10. That's the important thing.
Let it be known by all that I'm always here long before 10 on daily basis. The deputy clerk in charge of legislative management is aware, and he was informed to tell the second deputy speaker, because the first deputy speaker was not around yesterday, to start sitting at 10. His explanation is that he was caught up on the way to another function and he did not pass on the message. So it got to the second deputy speaker late. That is what the deputy clerk told me. And so let's take it, because I tried to get the house, because of the nature of the business, for committees to sit in the morning, get reports ready for us to debate in the afternoon. The House did not accept that. And you insisted that we should always start at 10, so 10 we will start. Today, the pre-sitting meeting, Majority Leader, you were not available. That's why the Deputy Whip might have made that statement. Well, we did the pre-sitting meeting and you were not available. Your deputy represented you. So that is why maybe he made some reference to that. So we will, I can see, but people may not see or hear. So if you want to say it, say it.
The Speaker, I said I was here, today I was here in the House at 8:30. Unfortunately, I had some challenge, physical challenge. And I was right in my office. So, Mr. Speaker, by your interpretation, I was in the presence of Parliament.
Yes, we are not debating that one. You were in the presence of Parliament in your office, and you had a challenge. So that explanation is taken. But please, let's commence sitting at 10. And so we'll continue to do that. So we move on to statements. Now we have one person. He said one person have statement. Yes.
Mr. Speaker, the understanding is that we will take the debate and then we will be moving to other business, including statement, after we have...
after the debate.
After the debate.
Honorable members, then we'll move on to at the commencement of public business. Item 7. Item 7. Motion. Debate. Yes, Majority Leader.
Just to get members to sort themselves out whilst preparing to begin the debate, I'm going to indulge you to enable me present the listed papers on behalf of the Ministers for Local Government Decentralization and Rural Development and Health. Just the presentation of the papers, and then we'll start the debate.
Honorable members, we are being called upon to take item 6 first, before item 7, and item 6 is presentation of papers. The following papers to be presented: 6A, by the Minister for Local Government, Decentralization and Rural Development. May I crave your indulgence for the Minister for Parliamentary Affairs, Majority Leader and Leader of the House, to do so for and on behalf of the Minister, and to lay 6A Roman 1 to 5 all together at the same time. Yes, just a minute, Majority Leader. Yes.
Mr. Speaker, this is budget time, and this is the most important period for ministers of state to be in Parliament. The culture of the Minister for Parliamentary Affairs becoming a penalty shooter should be a thing of the past. Mr. Speaker, the fact that you double as leader of government business and lead Minister of Parliamentary Affairs does not make you to be laying all the papers in all the sectors on behalf of the ministers. Mr. Speaker, we may not challenge this. We'll give you the opportunity for this, but going forward, call the ministers to be present in Parliament every day. Members are here, they want to be ministers, and you are privileged to be ministers. Come and do the work, and you are not here.
Even he himself wanted to.
Mr. Speaker, after this, he will be making an excuse for another, to lay it for on behalf of another minister. Okay, lay it on behalf of the local government, and let's see what will happen.
Yes, Majority Leader.
Yes, Speaker. Thank you. I think the intervention is not meant to be responded to. So I'll go on and do the presentation.
Yeah, we've taken note of what he said.
Yeah, I have, but it's not to be responded to.
Definitely, leadership will inform the ministers to do what generally is referred to as the needful. Yes, let's go on.
Annual statement by the Audit Committee of the Old Tafo Municipal Assembly for the year 2022. Annual statement by the Audit Committee of the Ofenso North District Assembly for the year 2022. Annual statement by the Audit Committee of the Miao District Assembly for the year 2022. Annual statement by the Audit Committee of the Mampo Municipal Assembly for the year 2022. Annual statement by the Audit Committee of the Amanfi Central District Assembly for the year 2022.
Honorable members, the 5 annual statements, that is 6A Roman 1, Roman 2, Roman 3, Roman 4, and Roman 5, are all referred to the Committee on Local Government and Rural Development for consideration and report to the House. Do we take 6B now? 6B?
That is so, Mr. Speaker.
Honorable members, item 6B by the Minister for Health. Sorry, Honorable Member for Ho Central.
Right, Honorable Speaker, I had been on my feet. to buttress the point being raised by the Deputy Minority Chief Whip. You see, these reports, which are being laid, according to the Public Financial Management Act, must be endorsed by the local government minister himself. But there was a time when he came up and we raised the matter. He had not endorsed the report. When we raised the matter, he said he had not even seen the report. So if he is made to stand and personally lay the papers, he will attest to the fact that he had either seen them or had not seen them. Because we are just breaking the law. He is not signing the report. He is not laying them personally. And it doesn't look like some importance is being attached to these reports. But it is very, very important. That's why I wanted to comment on what the Deputy Chief Whip said earlier. But I didn't catch your eye, and he has gone to stand in for him to lay the report. So we should take a serious look at this.
Yes, please.
Mr. Speaker, I think it's a useful point that he's making. However, the ministers don't assent to the reports in the House. They are required to assent to them before submitting them to the office of the clerk. So that is a moot point what you are raising. Mr. Speaker, thank you very much.
Well, just a minute. The difficulty here is that there is no evidence before us to show that the majority leader did not get the authority of the Minister for Local Government Decentralization and Rural Development. Because that's what he did. He did that on the authority of the Minister. And that presupposes that the Minister would have seen those reports, done the correcting before authorizing him to lay them for and on his behalf. So we take it that that is done. Unless you have evidence to lead, then this House will be prepared to listen to you. But that is what he has done. And he, the Minister, still holds the final responsibility, not the one laying the report. It's the Minister himself. So if he comes back to say he hasn't seen them, we'll hold him responsible and we'll take action against him. Yes, Honorable Clement Apart.
Grateful, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, the point I wanted to make was to reinforce the case made that the Minister for Local Government on this floor has expressed lack of knowledge with regards to a report that was laid in his name. I remember because I had raised an issue to do with how various MMDAs misapply and sometimes misuse the disability component of the District Assembly Common Fund. So it is indeed on record that a report has been laid in this House before on behalf of the Minister, based on which some of us raised issues to which the Minister was unaware. It's a matter of fact. So I wanted to make that point clear. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Yes, please, Honorable Dafiamapo.
Mr. Speaker, thank you very much. Mine is to seek your guidance. Mr. Speaker, yesterday I had, my question was among the questions that was supposed to have been answered. But given the nature of the business of the House, questions were not taken. Today I have 3 more questions. And I get the sense of the House that we may not do the business of taking questions today. Mr. Speaker, if I don't seek your guidance and get the questions rescheduled, I fear cracks. So I pray that you may have to direct that the questions be rescheduled to say next week. Thank you very much.
Yes, Honorable Haruna Idrisu.
Speaker, thank you very much. I note that you announced that at the commencement of public business, you want us to commence debate on the budget today. Mr. Speaker, just to implore you, as I look, I have not seen the Minister for Finance or a representative of the Minister for Finance. The Minister of Finance has another Minister of State and probably 2 other deputies. Mr. Speaker, budget oversight is our most important oversight function as Parliament. And budget oversight means a lot for the Ghanaian people. This is where we assure them that indeed the Parliament of Ghana controls the public purse and supervises the public purse for their good. It's important that the Minister for Finance sit in, and I'm sure, Mr. Speaker, you will want to hear this. You will recall even the days of Honorable Bawuri. He never missed an opportunity to be here and even to take notes and to walk around. Subsequently, we saw Honorable Setepe make an effort. I'm aware that the Minister for Finance himself is abroad on the critical negotiations with creditors on his bilateral and multilateral debt treatment. But at least, before we commence debate, leader of government business, don't focus too much on what I know you are campaigning for. You'll get there. I will help you with prayers. Focus on Parliament and its work and exercise oversight over the ministers on behalf of the President in this chamber. Make sure that at least before the commencement of debate on the budget, there is somebody representing the Honorable Minister for Finance. Mr. Speaker, the comments we pass here are not for comment sake. We want an improvement in the economic governance and economic management of this country. Then you have, as I've said, I'm aware the minister is abroad negotiating with external creditors, but at least, leader, where are the other ministers or deputy ministers? At least, fair to the lady MP Honorable Abna, she's always here. I'm fair to her. But at least, Mr. Speaker, before you say we should debate the budget, where is your representative from the Ministry of Finance? I know one is competing with you somewhere, Mr. Speaker. I thank you.
Majority Leader.
Mr. Speaker, I think this stray bullet can only come from a former minority leader. Mr. Speaker, he intends to achieve some cluster bombing with this a preemptive strike, which is not adding value to the discourse. I will assure him that when we come to the debate, the deputy ministers, or at least one of them, will be here. We are not there yet. Have we started? We haven't. Mr. Speaker, so the deputy minister is on his way coming. He's on his way coming. So if I may be permitted, because we've not even done the second one yet. These interventions came ahead of the presentation of the paper on behalf of the Minister for Health. So if I may be permitted to seal that, then we can move on.
Honorable members, I will direct the Able Office to get in touch with the Minister for Local Government to appear before the House, possibly today, for us to see whether he had sight of the statements that were laid and whether he has approved them to be placed before the House in view of the issues that have been raised. Again, we will not proceed to the budget debate now. We will start with statements until we see evidence from the political leadership of the ministry present in the House. Then we can go to the budget debate. So let's handle statements now. We need them to be available to note the submissions of members, take them serious, and make sure that they are factored into the management of our economy, particularly the implementation of the 2024 budget. So please, since we have some 2 statements available, we could take that now. We have the whole day to handle the budget. We will still, if we get time, also take questions. So, Honorable Dafina Okor, don't lose hope. You may be here today asking your questions. So, may I start with the Honorable Member for Kintampo? Sorry?
Mr. Speaker, we have not finished with the presentation of the papers.
You not finished what?
The presentation of the papers.
Is the Minister for Health here?
Mr. Speaker, I applied to you to enable me to present the paper on behalf of the Minister. And then
because of the issue they raised with regard to that of the Minister for Local Government, I thought we should always insist that the ministers be available or their deputies. Well, I don't want any question to be raised on your effective representation of them, which is what they just did.
Well, Mr. Speaker, I'm not too sure that was a real...
You are not too sure?
That is a real issue. Because
it's a mere wish.
A real issue.
It's not a real issue.
Yes, Mr. Speaker, because he's turning us back to some encounter that he had with Minister for local government. How many papers have I presented on behalf of ministers here?
Well, but this specifically refers to the Minister for Local Government. The Honourable Member for Ho Central raised a very serious matter, and which was buttressed by the Honourable Clement Apak. We can't just wish it away. If the Minister stated clearly on the floor of the House that he was not aware of some reports that were brought to the House and laid for and on his behalf, that is a serious matter. Because of the legal position, the law says that those papers must receive his approval before they are brought to the House. You know, yes, Honorable Deputy Whip.
Mr. Speaker, you are right. And I know it is for this reason that His Excellency the President recently nominated a Minister of State at the Ministry of Local Government, in addition to the Minister for Local Government and Rural Development, in addition to 2 deputies. So there are 4 there. At least one of them should have been available to settle this matter. So when we are saying the ministers must be present in this House, this is the reason why we say so.
Honourable members, statements. The minority leader.
Mr. Speaker, I want to rightly make an application to you to request of you, if possible, to allow members to start the debate on the budget. Mr. Speaker, this is particularly important because, Mr. Speaker, the major issue before the country now is the budget. And I can see that the gallery is full and most people want to listen to members debating the budget. Members from both sides are ready to debate the budget. Yes, the Ministry of Finance isn't here. But, Mr. Speaker, if the Ministry of Finance isn't here, it's their responsibility to be here. But we cannot say because of them we are not doing our work. I think it's important that we debate the budget whilst we wait for them to appear before us. So it's an application I'm making before you to consider allowing us to debate the budget while the majority side makes arrangement to bring one of the deputy ministers. Because, Mr. Speaker, they have 2 deputy ministers and 1 minister of state. So if the Minister of Finance isn't available, at least one of them will be able to, should be available. So they should make an arrangement to ask one of them to appear before here. So, Speaker, I can see someone from the Ministry of Finance at the gallery taking notes. Because I've worked there before, I know some of the staff, so I can see one there. But that isn't enough. A minister must be here. But in the meantime, Mr. Speaker, let's start the debate whilst we wait for them. Because the media and everyone else is also here, and I'm sure they want to take notes and possibly report before midday. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Yes, Deputy Whip, Majority.
Mr. Speaker, the point made by the minority leader is well noted, and the Minister of State at the Ministry of Finance on his way here for the debate to commence. But, Speaker, before that, when we were at the commencement of public business, 6C, the chairman of the committee is here for constitutional, legal, and parliamentary affairs, so that the paper can be laid. The chairman is here whilst we commence. The minister, I can assure you that one of them, either the deputy minister or the minister of state, would be here to be with us whilst we debate the budget.
Well, one, leadership should always agree and guide the House. When you disagree, it becomes a challenge for the Speaker to intervene in these matters. Well, you need to work together. I am not persuaded actually to commence the debate of the budget in the absence of the mover and seconder of the motion. I think this House should be taken more seriously than they are doing. And I don't think we'll do that in their absence. I insist that the ministry be represented either by the minister himself, which now is impossible because he's out of the jurisdiction, or at least the minister at the Ministry of Finance or any of the deputies should be here. That is very important. There are some things that during the course of the debate, they could, even on point of order, draw our attention because they are at the ministry. And so we cannot just say because we have people at the public gallery ready to listen to us, we should move on. No, that I'm not persuaded to do so. We will lay the papers as referred to by the Deputy Majority Whip, and then from there, if they are not still available, we'll take the statements. So we'll go to item 6C at page 4 of the order paper by the chairman of the committee, that's Constitutional, Legal and Parliamentary Affairs, 6C Roman 1.
Report of the Committee on Constitutional, Legal and Parliamentary Affairs on the Ghana Industrial Property Office Bill 2023.
Honorable members, the report is presented to the House accordingly and should be made available to every member of the House. We will now move to 6C Roman 2.
Report of Committee on Constitutional, Legal and Parliamentary Affairs on the Chartered Institute of Restructuring and Insolvency Practitioners, Ghana Bill 2023.
Honorable members, the said report is also presented accordingly and is for distribution to all members of Parliament. Notice to Committee Constitutional, Legal and Parliamentary Affairs. We have a number of bills pending before you. Next week, be sure that we'll have to take the bill on the you know the most important bill I'm referring to. Chairman.
Mr. Speaker, I'm aware, but Mr. Speaker had directed us to iron out some creases. So I've discussed with the ranking member, and very soon we'll see you in chambers before the most important bill is discussed.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Most important bill, and I insist that next week we have to take it and finish it. It's been pending for a long time, and questions are being raised. You know, when you delay in doing some of these things, it creates suspicion. And we know how dear our people hold the critical nature of that bill. And so we should please move to make sure it is passed. Honorable members, if there is no more paper to be laid or presented, we now do statements. Honorable member for Kintampo South, is that correct?
Honorable Speaker, North.
North.
Kintampo North.
Sorry, Kintampo North. Honorable Joseph Kwame Kuma.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, for this opportunity to bring to the attention of this House a serious matter raising its head in Kintampo, which may break the perpetual peace we have been enjoying for centuries. Mr. Speaker, the paramount chief of Mo, Nana Kwaku Dankwa III, the president of the Mo Traditional Council, has asked for a period within November, some days within November and December, to perform rituals to cleanse accidents and other negative incidents in the municipality, especially in the Mo settlement areas, which part of Kintampo Township is included. On the other hand, Strachi Fanjirima, the president of the Wangara community in Ghana, also who lives in Kintampo, also has his annual Kulubi festival within same few days in the time frame clashing. These two ceremonies at the same time is what is about causing the conflict in Kintampo. One time enviable society is about to collapse due to a threatening peace. A municipality that has unique location, strategically situated for all year-round agriculture, aquaculture, and...
I thank you for this opportunity to comment on the statement made by my brother Joseph Kwame, the MP for Kintampo North Municipality. Mr. Speaker, this statement is very timely. It is timely because Kintampo is a very, very important settlement for Ghanaians and, for that matter, people who travel to the neighboring countries. It is a very important community to the people of the North. So, for the MP to have picked a signal that this is what is going on and brought it to light on the floor of Parliament, he has to be commended for that. Mr. Speaker, the Mo chief and the Wangara chiefs are supposed to be brothers. They have traditional connectivity. So why should a matter of ritual and somebody performing his annual activities become an issue? Mr. Speaker, I want to believe that this feuding and battle is all about supremacy. Because sometimes, why should somebody say that I have to perform a ritual on a particular day and you cannot negotiate and have different days to collaborate and do this together? So, Mr. Speaker, I think that it's important for us to call on the National Security Minister to get involved in resolving this matter. It is very important for RESEC to get involved. It is very important for all stakeholders to get involved. Even if Parliament has to get involved to bring these two chiefs together and negotiate for them to have peaceful performances. This one should be able to have an opportunity to do his ritual at a different time, and the other one will also do his annual performance without any trouble. Mr. Speaker, peace is very important for us. And it is not only a necessary condition for development of our communities, it is a sufficient condition for us to develop. So I call on this House and the Speaker to get involved, and let's see how we can speedily bring these two parties together and have an amicable settlement. Mr. Speaker, once again, I thank my colleague for bringing this matter to light, and I thank you for this opportunity. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Right Honourable Speaker. I want to applaud the maker of the statement and to identify with the call that he has made on behalf of his people, mainly because I consider myself as a gender advocate, and one of the institutions that holds our culture in its place is the chieftaincy institution. And so anytime we have this kind of confrontation or misunderstanding, it goes to eat away from the authority that they have. The sentiments raised by my colleague is not unique to his place. There are few bottlenecks that we have heard about in our country. I know that it is for some of these reasons that's why we have a Ministry of Chieftaincy and Culture. I will urge that my colleague draws the attention of the Minister for his input and steps that he needs to take to make sure that this does not escalate into a situation where we will have the security agencies having to be deployed to go and bring peace in that community. Our chieftaincy institution is sacred, and whatever we all can do, especially as Parliament, to protect it is what I call for. I thank you very much, Right Honourable Speaker, for the opportunity.
Honourable Haruna Idrisu.
Speaker, let me thank you for the opportunity to comment on the statement ably made by the Honourable Joseph Kwame Kuma for the urgent need for peace in the Kintampo North constituency. Mr. Speaker, I should believe that he is making this statement in a representative capacity to draw attention to threatening development in his constituency that can undermine the peace in an otherwise very peaceful community. Mr. Speaker, for those travelers who commute Tamale, Bupe, Kintampo, Accra, Kintampo means a lot for us. I still remember my days even at the University of Ghana, Mr. Speaker. Probably you may have experienced same yourself. Traveling from Tamale to Kumasi or Accra, you enjoy the stopover at Kintampo. There were those who enjoyed even buying bread or mangoes at Kintampo for purpose of their journey. Mr. Speaker, I was with the honourable member in Kintampo last 1 month, I'm sure, for a funeral in Kintampo, very peaceful area. But Mr. Speaker, he is drawing attention to two important issues, one of which requires clarity. What is it that Parliament can do? And Mr. Speaker, I'm going to paragraph 2 of his statement. The Chief of Mo, Nana Kweku Dankwadete, has an activity to perform. Is it a lawful activity? Is it traditionally acceptable for him to do that which he purports to do, which is to perform rituals to clean accidents and other negative incidents in the municipality? Probably within his right and authority to do so. Then, Mr. Speaker, it is conflicting, as he himself states, with, on the other hand, researching the president of the Wangara community in Ghana, who also have the Klubi festival. So, Mr. Speaker, it's about timing. Who does what when? So the Regional Security Council, the District Security Council, and probably the Ministry for Interior and National Security must be seen engaging these traditional authorities in order to find an acceptable time period for these obligations or activities to be performed. If it is within their mandate, you cannot stop them from doing it. Indeed, government cannot even interfere with the matter and institution of chieftaincy other than to provide for the peace and security of citizens in that area. And therefore, the regional security must act. But Mr. Speaker, he is calling for different period for these different activities to be performed. I believe that should be very possible. But Mr. Speaker, we should support the honorable member and the people of Kintampo to continue to enjoy their peace. Very peaceful people, one of the most productive agricultural areas in our country. And Mr. Speaker, I want to commend the maker of the statement, but say that the Regional Security Council, the District Security Council, and probably the Minister for Interior must engage these two important chiefs for an amicable resolution as to when each of them can perform those roles they have identified themselves. I thank you, sir.
Honorable members, I think we'll end it here. We will call on the Minister for National Security, the Minister for the Interior as the first authorities to come to this House to brief the Committee on Defense and Interior. An urgent matter that should be handled. I think tomorrow should be okay for the two ministers and their commanders to appear before the committee early tomorrow morning by M to brief the committee. It's an urgent matter, which is an annual festival they celebrate called Kurbi Festival within a period. The paramount chief of Mo, and we know how key the Mo tribe is in Ghana, even though a lot of them are rather in Côte d'Ivoire. It's a very important tribe. The paramount chief of the Mo and the president of the Mo Traditional Council is deciding to perform some rituals. That one is not, and as I said, because it's an emergency matter dealing with the safety, security of all of us, particularly the investment that has been made in Kintampo. We have the College of Health at Kintampo, and they handle a lot of the professional mix in our health sector. I've been there many times, especially when I was the Minister for Health. And then we have the waterfall, a very important tourist event. And so we now move to item 7, and we'll commence and continue with the debate on the motion that was moved by the Minister of Finance and seconded by the Minister of Information. So, honorable members, the students from Nyanyano Methodist School, led by Mr. Daniel Mensah. Nyanyano Methodist School is located at Kaswa. Please, may you stand up to be recognized. Well, that will have been about 3 buses of students. Congratulations, you've done very well by bringing our children to see what we do here. You are all warmly welcome, and this is your parliament. When you are in trouble, this is where you can run and get cover. Nobody can touch you when you are here. All the protection is here for you. So you are most welcome. Please resume your seats. Yes, so Honorable Alexander Afenyo Markin, you may now make your submissions.
Mr. Speaker, thank you for this treasure space to support the motion on the floor. Mr. Speaker, before I proceed with my own views on this important matter, permit me, Mr. Speaker, to precede him with a very profound statement. In fact, 2 profound statements from Shakespeare.
The Speaker, Shakespeare wrote in Macbeth that, quote, "Had I but died an hour before this chance, I would have lived a blessed life. Far from this instant, there is nothing serious in mortality." He again said in the same Macbeth that, Mr. Speaker, quote, "that I have no spare to break the size of my intent, but only vaulting ambition, which overleaps itself and falls on the other." Mr. Speaker, today, vaulting ambition of the NDC minority that failed this country at the time they left office, all the economic indicators were at its all-time low. Today, vaulting ambition, overleaping itself, is making them feel as though their past incompetence has left them. Mr. Speaker, if I died an hour before this chance, I would have lived a blessed life. Mr. Speaker, had I but died an hour before this chance, I would have lived a blessed life. I say to this, to the NDC, the Mahama Setepe Atuforsen economy that failed to fulfill IMF conditionalities. They failed the people of Ghana, run to the IMF with their so-called homegrown policies, and at the time they were handing over power to the Akufo-Addo government, the IMF had no trust in them. As a result of that mistrust, all disbursements that were supposed to be made were not made. You failed the country. You failed the country. And today, you say that you want to come to power. Mr. Speaker,
well,
their target.
Your colleague is up.
Oh, Mr. Speaker, that is how they want
I'll give you time. I'll give you enough time. Don't worry.
Okay.
Yes, please.
3.
Mr. Speaker, this is a house of records. Mr. Speaker, the Honorable Deputy Majority Leader has made a categorical statement that at the time the NDC administration was leaving office in 2016, all disbursements from the IMF are ceased, and that the NDC failed to draw down. Mr. Speaker, I challenge him to provide us evidence. Mr. Speaker, he's been saying this untruth for so many days without correction. Mr. Speaker, today I want to challenge him to provide us evidence. Number 1. And number 2, Mr. Speaker, he said that we have derailed all the IMF conditionalities. I challenge him to provide us what conditionality, what benchmark did the NDC fail to? Did the NDC fail to achieve under the IMF program? So, Speaker, 1, he should give us the amount we failed to draw down, and 2, mention the conditionalities the NDC failed to achieve. So, Speaker, this is a house of records, and this record needs to be collected because he's been saying this for a number of times. So, Speaker, I so submit.
Yes, you may continue.
Mr. Speaker, I proceed with emphasis that at the time the NPP assumed office, where this country was under an IMF program, IMF had refused the disbursement of funds meant for the program. This was captured in the 2017 budget. Go and read. It's there. Go and read. It's there. Mr. Speaker, a disbursement had been delayed. There was no such thing. Mr. Speaker, that's a matter of fact. Mr. Speaker,
look for the budget.
The NDC, Mr. Speaker, the NDC, at the time, honorable members, even common nursing training allowance, you said you could not pay. Common teacher training allowance, you could not pay. We came, we saw, we conquered. We have implemented this. Today, this same Mahama Tekwe Atuforsun government have come before us, looking at us in our eyes, telling us that they can do better. What can you do better? Is it the past you want to revisit? Is it the past you want to revisit? What new have you to offer? But I can assure you that with Dr. Baumia as our leader, the Baumia that we've targeted is a man for the future. And we defeat you at the polls. When the last time Dr. Baumia called for a debate, your running mate, Professor Nano Pokwajiman, said she was a literature professor, so she would not go into debate. And she ran away. I wonder whether she would be able to face a debate today. And unfortunately, you say you are ready for government. Since you elected your flag bearer, he has not been able to even select and announce a running mate. Is that the confidence you are bringing on board? Your flag bearer has been given an opportunity to demonstrate his readiness to run the economy. Mr. Speaker, so far, this flag bearer of the NDC has failed a common decision, and he is still dragging his feet. Clearly, you are an indecisive party. If you want to choose Atuforsun, you should say so that we can combine them and tell the Ghanaians that this same Atuforsun and his Mahama failed them. If it is Ama Kofibwa, he should tell us. So we tell Ghanaians that Ama Kofibwa was there at the Energy Ministry. They signed the take or pay agreement. If they want to take Kwame Agboja, they should tell us. Maybe Kwame Agboja is coming with a new idea. But we want to see his record. He should let us know what better he can do. Mr. Speaker, I am contending that the NDC in its current form, shape and character cannot boast of anything new. We inherited the economy that was at its worst state. And between 2017 and 2019, the records are there for all to see. Until COVID came, now I'm coming there. Mr. Speaker, we had COVID. Mr. Speaker, I refer you to paragraph 25 of the budget. Government has invested 32.7 billion to keep our lights on. Is that, Mr. Speaker, our roads, Mr. Speaker, our roads, go to paragraph 36 bullet point 5. The government has expanded and improved the road network by investing about 16 billion. About 16 billion. This has resulted, Mr. Speaker, in construction of most kilometers of roads and interchanges done in our nation. This is unprecedented, and Mr. Speaker, fact is fact. Mr. Speaker, with respect, I would want to pause here and seek your intervention to get them to be more tolerant and listen. Because
when I tried to intervene to maintain order, you cut in and started talking. Now you are calling on me to intervene. Please, I will definitely intervene because the House is falling into disorder. Yesterday we had a very good debate. We listen to each other. Let's continue that way today. Please allow him. The leaders pleaded with me to give them 25 minutes each. 25 minutes each. And I think that was the understanding. So he has 13 more minutes. So you may go on. I've taken note of all what has happened. You have 13 more minutes.
So, Mr. Speaker, the testimony in various areas of our economy is clearly as a result of competent leadership in the wake of global geopolitical crisis, the COVID crisis we had all over the world, and no economy is in a good shape, and they know. No economy is in any good shape anywhere in the world. And if they say any economy is in a better shape anywhere in the world, I dare them to say that in this house. Interrogation. Mr. Speaker, in spite of all that is going on, the Nkunim budget has allocated 3 billion cedis to agriculture sector. 3 billion cedis. Mr. Speaker, in spite of all the challenges that we are facing as a country, this Nkunim budget has set down 3.5 billion cedis for the road sector for arrears to contractors and to also complete ongoing road projects. This is a positive news to businesses. This is a positive news to contractors. Mr. Speaker, let's come to leak. Our government is committed to the social needs of the people who are vulnerable. Mr. Speaker, leak has been increased by way of allocation from 395 million to 720 million cedis. And these monies are going to benefit the very poor of our society, in spite of the challenges that we face. Is this an empty budget? Mr. Speaker, school feeding has increased from 969 million to 2.4 billion. Mr. Speaker, we have sent many of our children to schools. We have built the infrastructure. We know that many people are poor, and in spite of the challenges, this government has increased allocation up to 1.4 billion. Mr. Speaker, the all-important health insurance, the allocation has also increased from an initial 2.5 billion in the 2023 allocation to 6.5 billion to take care of the health needs of our people. Could you do that when you had 8 years in office? NDC, could you do to support those who are in dire need as a result of the situation? Mr. Speaker, it is only through a budget that government can demonstrate commitment. Government cannot just withdraw state funds. It must provide for, it has to be approved by Parliament. And that is what this government has done. Mr. Speaker, the NDC of the past want to take us to the past. And they are, with all their group of past members, want to take us to the past. We will not go to the past. We are moving forward. Mr. Speaker, all they know is to attack this government. Let me go to the central region, the coastal belt of Ghana. Mr. Speaker, they came to this house in 2013, promised the fisher folks of this country a landing beach project. As at 2015, they abandoned that important project, came with a capping, and removed that completely. Today, this NPP government, the Akufo-Addo Bawumia government, is telling that it has walked the talk. It is telling the Mahama Setekwe Atuforsin government that failed Ghanaians. Yes, we did the Elmina, the London beach there. Or the Honorable Kwame Abuja, has Atuforsin told you that NDC built the Elmina London beach site? Because you are saying, not into the mic, you said, you are telling me that London beach. You didn't do it. We have built 12 landing beach sites. 12 landing beach sites. Go and check. I told you, don't know. 12 landing beach sites. Disco, Keta, Jamestown.
Honorable Deputy Majority Leader, you can make changes without inviting your opponents. Well, when you mention their names specifically, then you are inviting. Yes, when they do so and you get up, I'll allow you to intervene. When you be mentioned specifically. So you don't need to do that. If they mention you specifically, definitely when you get up, I'll allow you to intervene. Now you call the minority chief whip, and he stood up. But we don't want to have these interventions. We want to have a smooth debate. So please go on.
Speaker, they've already done that. They will have a bite of their own game. So, Mr. Speaker, today, this government is giving assurances to the people of Ghana that it is a government that believes in the promises of our constitution. That is why, Mr. Speaker, billions of cedis have been committed to sustain the free SHS. That is why, Mr. Speaker, in spite of all the challenges that we face as a country, all institutions of states are getting their support to run their various departments and agencies. Mr. Speaker, during the time of COVID and now, all this while that Dr. Forson and his team have been attacking government for non-performance, no single public sector worker has complained of non-payment of salaries.
2 more minutes.
No public sector worker has complained of non-payment of salaries and other emoluments. No pensioner has complained of inability of government to pay pension. Mr. Speaker, indeed, this is a caring government. We are facing this crisis and we are providing steady leadership in spite of all the crisis. Mr. Speaker, let me come to the financial sector cleanup. Mr. Speaker, we committed, this government committed over 25 billion cedis directly to support the banking sector. It is true that some Ghanaians lost their lives, but the decision of government kept more Ghanaians at work, kept more Ghanaians to have their jobs than they would have lost their lives if NDC was in office. And Mr. Speaker, now to conclude, these were men and women who without COVID, who without geopolitical crisis, who with their own homegrown economic policies failed Ghanaians. If they were in office at the time of all the crises that we faced, Mr. Speaker, where would Ghana be? Indeed, we have said bye-bye to them. It's never again to NDC, Mahama, Setekwe, Atuforsin economy again. It is bye-bye to you, and it is bye-bye forever. Mr. Speaker, I rest my case and I thank you.
Honorable members, I would like to suspend sitting for 5 minutes, only 5 minutes, and then we'll resume. Sitting suspended 5 minutes.
3 oil fields, and he can do it. And when NDC comes to power, January 7th, 2025, 100% electricity coverage is a possibility. Right Honorable Speaker, I want to talk slightly again about the spillage.
To compete with our neighbors. For instance, once again, inflation. Like I said, Kenya's inflation is less than 10%. Tanzania, their inflation, I haven't said Tanzania, so Tanzania, listen. Tanzania is less than 5%, their inflation in 2022. Again, in Ghana, we are doing 35%. Mr. Speaker, if this is the record, how can you become competitive? How can you go out there and compete with other businesses? So clearly, high cost of electricity, high cost of production, high cost of doing business in this country makes it very difficult for our local industry to strive, and to the extent that they'll be able to compete with other neighbors within the sub-region.
That's right.
And so, when we talk about Africa Continental Free Trade, the benefit is for other countries and not this country because of mismanagement. Now, Speaker, let me now quickly move to my favorite subject area, 1D, 1F. So shameful.
Yeah.
Very shameful, Mr. Speaker.
Yeah.
Having approved so much exemptions for 1D, 1F, we have nothing, absolutely nothing to show except to put figures. We are told that about 168 plus jobs have been created. Mr. Speaker, that is a lie. It is a lie because the figures don't show that.
Yeah.
Today, as we speak, unemployment rate is hovering around 13.7%. So if you have created jobs through 1D, 1F, why have you moved from 8.4% 2016 to 13.7% 2023?
Yeah.
Why forcing figures on us?
Tell them all.
We will advise you, if you take good, if you don't take, very soon we know that you are leaving.
2 minutes, Speaker, 2 minutes more, 2 minutes.
Mr. Speaker, I will leave some of my work and then go to a very important subject matter which has to do with the state of the Ghanaian people. Mr. Speaker, under the watch of Nana Akufo-Addo, or whatever they call him, and Dr. Baumia, I don't know whether it's Mahmudu or Mahamadou.
Honorable member, that is quite low. That is the president of Ghana.
Mr. Speaker, I
know his name and know it well.
I withdraw and apologize. Mr. Speaker, under the watch of Nana Akufo-Addo, our president,
William,
the outgoing president, and the outgoing vice president, the incompetent vice president, there's one thing that stands out clearly, that when your mama meets you today and says, "Good afternoon, my brother," you can confidently respond, "Good afternoon." When my good brother, Dr. Baumia, sees you,
police from the other side talk about everything that they are saying, I'm saying to myself, are we living in the same country? The era of slash and burn politics must be over. If I were a Ghanaian sitting in my living room watching my colleagues on the other side speaking, I'll switch off my TV. Because I don't believe you win votes by running down the other side of the political class. We are making Ghanaians hopeless and helpless. Ghanaians are not getting hope from you. I want to tell you one thing. The era of the slash and burn politics must be over. Share your vision for the country. I sit here and you are talking about the economy is being run down, the education system is being run down, everything is falling apart, and I tell you, sometimes I believe it's because some people are not reading. Let me let me go to the 2016 budget. 2016 budget. The budget page, I'll give you the page, 120. The budget was talking about how we'll get headmasters to charge standard fees. We are talking about free. You were talking about how can we regulate headmasters so they don't charge more fees than what we have approved. And this was in your budget statement, page 120, 2016 budget. You see, let me tell you this. We may not be where we want to be, but we are sure not where we used to be. Great strides have been made in this country. Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo promised free senior high school. He has delivered. Yes. During your time, you left a student population of 830,000. Today, it's close to 1.4 million students, and they are being catered for by this government. Yeah. Let me tell you this. Once upon a time, there was a Northern feeding program. Schools were being shut down because headmasters were not getting the feeding allowances in the north of this country.
Just the north.
And it was just the north, not the whole country. Now let me name one school that your government have built, and I calmly said Bosontwe Girls High School. I did not even mention Pasempe. I did not even mention Abomosu. I did not even mention Awaso. I did not even mention Diaso. These are all STEM schools that have been built by this government. Pasempe, Northeast. You go and see a school that is second to none in the Northeast, Pasempe. It's a tourist attraction for a number of people. They go there to see. A high school with 12 science labs, they go there to see. New science labs are under construction in our existing schools in this country. This is the handiwork of Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo. Our basic schools are seeing transformation. New junior high schools are being built. Primary schools, new ones are being built across the length and breadth of this country. Make no mistake about it. Ghanaians have become wiser. The era where we have to lambast our opponents when elections are over. Ghanaians are going to see that if you want to come back to power, tell me what your vision is. Don't spend all the time lambasting your opponent that he has done nothing. Talk about what you have done and what you intend to do. I hope the people who are watching us in this debate will begin to see that many times it's just a political gimmick, running down our opponents to look good. Why can't you accept that your opponent has done something but you have something better to offer the people of Ghana? That is the politics we need to do in this country. We are making our people hopeless. When they look at us, they don't see hope in Ghana. Because we have told them that there's no hope in Ghana. We, the political class, are telling Ghanaians that if you tell them that we have offered no hope, they believe that you are bringing hope. They believe that we are the same. When we come here, we eat together, and you know that.
Technical universities.
We talk together. Go to technical universities. Look at the equipment that the government have brought there, the engineering labs. Go to Cape Coast Technical University. 3-story engineering lab with all equipment that you can even not find in other places in the world is there. Go to Accra Technical University. Go and look at the equipment that is there. Across the length and breadth of this country, transformation is happening. And in case you are not reading, please begin to read. Read to understand that the better days of our nation is ahead of us and not behind us. We all can do better. When I see an e-block at Adansi Apeja, and the e-block cannot be opened because there are only 30 students in that junior high school in that village who can move on to high school, but we gave them a community school, a day school at Adansi Apeja. The government of Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo then decided we should add a dormitory block for boys and girls. We did, and today we have opened Adansia Peja Community School. The good news is that it's a full boarding school and not a day school. That is the vision. Go to Drobonso. Go to Drobonso. You have put up an E-block, interesting, nice edifice. But you have put it 6 miles away from town, and the road there is not passable. And what do? What we had to do as a government that cares about Ghanaians was to add dormitory block to Drobonso, and I can report to you that the E-block of Drobonso is no longer going to be a day school, but a boarding school, and will open it this academic year. Go to Insawra, the constituency of my brother Alestete. You put a beautiful E-block there, but the children were working 10 miles. Some of them had to come and look for family members to live with in order to go to Nsawra. Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo said, let's improve upon it. That's what governance is about. NDC starts something, we make it better. Therefore, today, better. Anything you left behind, we're making it better. Therefore, we don't need to go back. We have to go forward. So, Ghanaians, Mr. Speaker, there's no time to go back. We are going forward. We are building on what you left behind. We've made schools become boarding schools. We don't want you to come back and revert them to day schools, so that family will have to rent spaces at Nsawra for their children to live in. And then some people will wake up and say, why is it that you have not opened the school at Nkrakan? In Krakan school, how can I open in Krakan without adding a boarding facility? Why did you put a day school in a community that can only have 30 students graduating from junior high school? I don't understand what kind of education policy you were following. But for sure, it was a faulty policy. So the school building is great, a great edifice. If you put E-block in the city, investment. So we'll come back during the third term, change all the E-blocks into boarding schools, make them useful to the good people of Ghana. That is what the MPP does. We know education. We live education. We transform education. We will transform the fortunes of Ghana through education. And that is what we are about. We know what to do. And Ghanaians must know that if they give us a chance, and we move on beyond this term, we are going to create a more robust education system. We are creating new model junior high schools. A junior high school that has biology, chemistry, and physics lab. A junior high school that has STEM lab. A junior high school that has a computer lab. So that Ghanaian children will get quality 6-year secondary education, irrespective of the junior high school they find themselves in. Mr. Speaker, Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo believes in education. He has invested in education. He will continue to invest in education. And God willing, President Mahamudu Bawumia, who understands the relationship between economics and education, will continue the legacy of Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo. They will make education so attractive. So parents are going to line up to sign up to enter our public schools. That will be our legacy. That day will soon come.
2 minutes. 2 minutes more.
Mr. Speaker, the day will come without some of us, without some of you, but definitely the day is coming when public school becomes so attractive, so desirable. I look forward to the day when I'll meet you at the entrance of public school. You've lined up to sign up your grandchildren. Education is what changed society. Education is what brought us here. Education is the reason why we are sitting in this place. We cannot come here and minimize education. We can't come here and make Ghanaians hopeless. We tell them the schools are so bad, don't send your children. And you are sending your children to school and you're educating them. You run down free senior high school for the poor parents to get so helpless that they say, no, it's so bad, we are not sending our children. And you are sending your children. Why are we doing this to Ghanaians? Why are we doing this to Ghanaians? We are determined that we'll make schools better. We are determined that we'll regularize prospectus so that no headmaster can charge anything and say, bring 20 brooms That era is over. We have harmonized prospectus this year. That's what a good government does. You see a problem, you solve it. We see a problem, so don't deceive Ghanaians, because they are sitting there, they are not sending their children in your constituency to schools because you are lying to them. That is no longer free. It's free. Free senior high school is free. I want Ghanaians to know, in case you think it's not free, I want Ghanaians to know that it's free, so they should send their children to school. Mr. Speaker, thank you for the opportunity.
Yay! Honorable members. Honorable members, it's now the turn of Honorable Jifa Gomashi. I am informed you are member, and therefore you have 10 minutes.
Thank you very much, Right Honorable Speaker. I'm very grateful for this opportunity to contribute to the discussion or the debate on this budget. Right Honorable Speaker, in 2013, His Excellency John Dramani Mahama through an executive instrument, put together the Ministry of Tourism, Culture and Creative Arts. Before then, we had the Ministry of Tourism, and we also had the Ministry of Culture and Chieftaincy, or Chieftaincy and Culture. The reason why that ministry was named Tourism, Culture and Creative Arts is the fact that we industry players recognize that the strength of this country, as far as tourism is concerned, lies heavily in the culture and creative arts domain. If you take South Africa and the likes, they have safari, they have wildlife, but our strength is in our culture. And so we had the Ministry of Tourism, Culture and Creative Arts. Not long after, we were mandated to look at the legal framework within which the industry will grow. And we were mandated also through Parliament to ratify 7 UNESCO conventions, which were going to make it possible for us to be able to access support from UNESCO and its agencies. Under John Dramani Mahama, these were achieved, and this Parliament helped us to do that. Not long after, the name of the ministry was changed, and since then, all I have read in our budgets from 2019 is the fact that we have done the year of return. And as we celebrate and trumpet this year of return, the industry sinks. As we speak, the film industry, the creative arts sector, has nothing to show for it. And if you look at this budget that was represented to us, the same story has been repeated here. The Ministry of Tourism, Culture and Creative Arts is not only about tourism. It is also about the other sectors and domains that feed the tourism. If people come to Ghana, they're not coming to learn how to make a car. They're coming to look at our culture. They're coming to appreciate our creativity and our heritage. And it is for that reason that the World Bank supported this country to renovate the Kwame Nkrumah Memorial Park. In that same document that that celebrates this feat, they mention other areas that they are going to support us in. And Mr. Speaker, with your kind permission, I'll read that part of the World Bank document and the areas where they seek to support us in this sector so that we can move forward. And let tourism give us the low-hanging fruits that we can pluck. It says, and I read, achievements to date. Early in the project, several tourist sites and destinations were designed and upgraded, including facilities at Bonue Crafts Village, Bojawe Palace Museum, Akwemufie, and Casa Forest Reserve, Nzulezu Receptive Facility, and Bushegu Smoke Village. In the last 2 years, the government has focused on designs of construction of Cape Coast Castle. But if you go there now, it's a poor reflection of what it's supposed to be. Many of us in this room, Mr. Speaker, have traveled outside this country and enjoyed the benefits of tourism everywhere. You can't drive to the tourist sites in this country without complaining. There's nothing at the end of the journey, and if you want to have a 24-hour economy experience, which is to be able to sleep there and go to a nightclub or go to a restaurant at night, there's nothing. So what do? You drive back to Accra. We have neglected, this government has neglected the tourism sector, and all the domains are suffering therefore. Mr. Speaker, I'm going to mention a few things that should have found space in this 2023-2024 budget. We have heard recently that there's going to be a blue economy. Blue economy has to do with the sea. It's difficult to find anything that seeks to promote the blue economy in this document. The blue economy is also part of what will make the tourism sector thrive. And as we watch and look on for our coastline to be depleted by tidal waves and climate change, we will lose out on being a part of that blue economy. Why are you treating this country like this? Why are you ignoring the facts and figures that are in the documents that you have access to? Why is it so important to have slogans about what you're going to do, and we cannot point to the facts, the real things in this sector? Why is that so? All you have regurgitated in this document is the fact that there was a year of return. Year of return that happened in 2019. You are still counting it as a success story? It's as if there's an attempt to just hoodwink everybody in this sector that you're doing something about it. What happened to the promises that were made to us in all the statements that you have been making? Mr. Speaker, I think that we, recognizing the power of the cultural sector, having ratified the 7 UNESCO conventions, we're seeking as NDC to ensure that if you talk about tangible and intangible cultural heritage, it is an area where this country can benefit from, and that's why we sought to ratify it. And there is indeed, as a result, a UNESCO fund that has been assessed by this government, and it has not found expression in the document that we refer to today. In the UNESCO document, it says that $1 billion US have been assigned for Africa, and we have received as Ghana our share of that. How has that been used? Why is it not in this document? Why is it not here? Why is it not here? Why don't we know about it as Parliament? Why don't I know about it as an industry player? It just shows that you don't take the tourism sector seriously, and so everything to do with tourism is just about year of return. We've had enough of that regurgitation of the year of return, because the year of return, if you care to know, started as PANAFest. Pan-African Festival brought in people from Africans around the world, initiated by Info Sutherland of blessed memory. I was a young girl, but I remember the role that I played. So it is not an innovation. It is an improvement of what was before, but 2019, 2020, 2021, 2020, 2023, you are still talking about it. This sector, the tourism sector, deserves better, and it will be good for you to follow the examples of His Excellency John Dramani Mahama, the nation builder, the visionary leader who set out to have the ministry named Tourism, Culture and Creative Arts for good reason. Right, Honorable Speaker, I want to urge that as Togo and Benin has done, by assessing
You have less than 2 minutes.
Yes, please. Thank you. By assessing the WACA, West African Coastline Area Development Fund, and reclaiming their beaches. You should go and see it, Mr. Speaker. They've now replanted palm trees, walkways. It's beautiful. Why is Ghana crawling to assess that fund? Why? We are going to once again shortchange ourselves and not be a part of the blue economy, and I fear for this country because this is a sector that holds the potential of creating jobs for the young people with creative minds and talents. Right, Honorable Speaker, we need to save this country. Wallahi, we need to save this country. Right, Honorable Speaker, we cannot go on like this. In fact, I'm emotional right now. We cannot go on like this. We need to save this country. And in saving it, there are areas that we should focus on, which have the low-hanging fruits, as I said: tourism, culture, and creative arts. The reparation of stolen goods from around the world has been assessed by Benin once again, a fine example. I was there to see how it was changing the creative arts sector in that country. I urge us to up our game and save the tourism sector and stop celebrating the same thing for 5 years. I thank you very much, Right Honorable Speaker.
Sir, is it take or pay or take and pay? He's supposed to help us with that, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, aren't we in this country? When the IMF people told us that we are in distress due to a contract that we signed some years back, signed by our friends on the other side. Mr. Speaker, aren't we in this country that we experience that? They are asking us, at what cost are we keeping the lights on? Mr. Speaker, we are keeping the lights on to ensure that the businesses of Ghanaians are keep running, that they will be able, that over 40 countries have had their highest level of inflation. And you know it. Obviously, Togo, SA, and all other countries are not out of this. So we know that we are in distress. We are in challenges. And Mr. Speaker, the budget was clear when it was being read by the finance minister. And Mr. Speaker, the budget, as read by the finance minister, premised on what? One, the IMF, the budget was premised on an anchored and a tight fiscal budget. So we know that we are in IMF processes, and that is why this budget must fit into the economy. Mr. Speaker, the Bank of Ghana is also pursuing a tight policy. We are aware that this budget is supposed to fit into that. Mr. Speaker, we are aware that the government is not going out there to borrow from any other country. We are supposed to focus on what we are supposed to do is to focus on a local borrowing. Mr. Speaker, we are aware, and this budget is not oblivious to that. Mr. Speaker, they are telling us about 24-hour economy. They are telling us about one man called John Mahama. They are telling us about some people coming. Mr. Speaker, we are saying that you cannot build a 24-hour economy with Okada policy. Okada policy cannot help you to build a 24-hour economy. Indeed, Mr. Speaker, when at this point in time we are talking about...
Honorable Member, did I hear you say one man, John Mahama?
Mr. Speaker, I withdraw. Mr. Speaker, I withdraw. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, indeed, you cannot build a 24-hour economy talking about Okada policy. When we are talking about green economy, when the whole world, the issue that we are all thinking about is how to transition to a green energy, and then you are talking about Okada, and you are happy about it. Mr. Speaker, this is quite unfortunate. That is why, Mr. Speaker, in the 2024 budget, which we are expecting to produce to bring our economy to about 1 trillion, we are thinking about electric cars. We are thinking about electric motor vehicles, where my uncle Amabua can drive a Tesla, not a V8 that's going to create an emissions. That is what we are talking about. And this is what we call about an Nkunim budget. Mr. Speaker, they have been talking about an economy being worse. Mr. Speaker, let's talk about when we inherited the economy. How many taxes did we take off to ensure Ghanaians were relieved of the burden they placed on them since 2016? Mr. Speaker, with your permission, Mr. Speaker, some of the taxes that we abolished. Mr. Speaker, we abolished the 17.5% on financial services. We have abolished the import duty on the importation of spare parts. We've abolished the 1% special import levy. We have abolished 17.5 VAT on domestic airline tickets. We've abolished levies on Kayaye by local on Kayayes. Even you levy them. But Mr. Speaker, as we speak now, we have abolished that. Mr. Speaker, truly, this is a transformational leader. Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo, handing over to His Excellency, the incoming president. Mr. Speaker, I can assure you that by January 2025, His Excellency, Dr. Muhammad Owia will remember you in his government. I can confidently tell you that, Mr. For the good work you are doing for this house. Mr. Speaker, indeed, they remember you because, Mr. Speaker, as we speak.
Honorable member, don't put speaker in the debate.
Mr. Speaker, as we speak, my brother Chiwate is thinking of expanding his farm. Mr. Speaker, at this point, he will be ready to do it because farm machinery, there is no going to be any VAT on it, so he can expand his farm. That is what we are talking about. Mr. Speaker, my own sister Jifa is not thinking of getting. Mr. Speaker, that is what we are talking about. This is